Hello and welcome to Luke Selman Books and Studios. In this video we are going to be continuing with the website that we started in the previous video. That is the main website that I will be personally uploading to a remote server once it is complete. So in this video we are going to continue off where we left off yesterday. So if we take a look at the live preview and we go back to that screen, let us go ahead and do that. So if we go to the side screen, we've got this sort of gradient here, which is our title, and then we've got this sort of nice fade and a navigation here. So we can obviously hover over it, we can click on it. It's not doing anything at the moment, we're not navigating anywhere, but we are able to click on them, and the navigation at the top there, or the URL at the top there, is changing. Obviously, like I said, it's not doing anything because we haven't implemented a JavaScript hash-based router yet or anything like that. But we're not going to do that yet because we need to put in some templates before we can decide to do that. So let's go back to our main screen and continue. So inside of our content, what I'd like to do is, of course, start designing the actual page content itself. That's the templates for each for the general news search facility, and each news item we're going to have a books place where we'll have multiple books on show, and you'll be able to click on those, and you'll have different book items with maybe iconic characters, iconic places. A portfolio will also be added as well, which will be a portfolio of works that I've done in the past. Maybe some of them may be downloadable, who knows. Ultimately depends on whether or not I believe that project is worth sharing. So that's all well and good. So let's go ahead and do it instead of messing about talking. So first things first, I need to add that panel back inside of our content. And let's see, content does not appear to be, hang on, ClearFX, that'll do anything. No, actually I don't think I need this anyway. We're technically already ClearFXing this, so that should be fine, I would think. I could be completely wrong, but anyway, let me think about this. Okay, well, let's just start design. Let's just put some elements on the screen. So the first thing I'd like to do is have a category system in place. So there's going to be various categories. How should I do this? I think I'd like to do it like this. So I'm going to say a class category blue, I don't know, something like that. And this is going to be hash news slash category slash, hang on a minute, I'm thinking, general, why not? So that's going to be general. So it's appearing there, that's fine. In fact, you know what? I'd like to do is make it a bit smaller. So I'm going to say inner panel. I don't know, something like that. It's a terrible name, I know. So I'm just going to set that to width of 50% and the margin of auto. And this is going to be an inner panel. Okay, that looks better. Okay. So The next one, I'm going to say A class category, let's say, in fact, I'm going to make this line, and then the next one's going to be blue, and this is going to be category development. So whatever development ideas I'm working on. Let's have orange. That I will put down as books. So any book updates or anything relating to any of my books. And I think that will be it for the time being. This isn't going to be a I need to think about this because there's a lot of layout that needs to be put in place. This is one of the things about HTML. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have an ID of categories. Because we're going to get these categories from the database eventually. And then we're going to say div ID search. In here I'm going to have an input of type text. That is going to be an ID of search. Well, we've already got technically an ID of search, but search input, I'll call it that, search input. And we are going to need to adjust that. Next thing I'd like to do is divide these columns up. So I'm going to start doing this. So in Bootstrap, what they do is they do this, they do a sort of grid system in place with 12 columns. So we're going to have a similar system. So I'm going to say here col 4, and this one's going to be col 8. So let's put that in place. So col 1 is going to be a width of 6.67%. Don't tell me how I remember that. Or ask even. Next one's going to be 13.33%. Float left. This is a bit boring, I know, but it needs to be done. Hang on, minutes to 3 divided by 12, 0.25, of course it is. 25%. Don't do that. Col 4. That is going to be 33%. Float left. Col 5. So that's going to be 5 divided by 12, 41.67%. Col 6 is of course going to be a width of 50%. Float left. Col 7 is whatever the difference between this and this is. So that's going to be 58.23%. Col 8. I forgot to put float left there. I do realize there is a better way of doing this, but I quite like doing it this way. I don't know why. Tediousness. Sometimes it's good. I don't know why. Col 9, that's going to be, of course, 75%. Float left, so as you can see in the corner of the screen, you might have seen the adjustment automatically as I've been doing this. I probably won't have all of these implemented, used even, but I'm going to put it all in there anyway. So that is going to be width of 11 to 6.67. No, what am I talking about? 93.33%. I think I got that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I was supposed to be 33. Got that wrong. And of course, Col 12 is going to be a width of 100%, but we don't really need to do that, to be honest. So I'm just going to ignore that. Okay. So we've got some things here at the moment. Let's just take a look on the side screen. So this is what it looks like at the moment. We've got this text box here that hasn't got much padding to it. We've got some anchor links, which of course if we click on them it's not going to do anything. So let's add some styling to that. Go back to the main screen, and what I'm going to do is down here I'm going to say a dot category. So here I'm going to say display inline block, because originally it's inline, but we want to make it inline block. Secondly, I want to say the color is going to be 000. We're not going to have that text decoration. I'm going to put the background color, and in fact that background color is going to be dependent on what we put down as the actual color. But what I'm going to do is say padding 4 pixels, and we're going to have a border radius of 4 pixels, followed by a box shadow of 0 pixels, 0 pixels, 2 pixels, and that's just going to be black for the time being. Yeah. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to put the colors in place. So for the lime, I'm going to put a background, and that is going to be, well, that's technically what lime looks like. Yeah, that looks better in my opinion. Let's just take a look at that just quickly. So this is what that looks like at the moment. There's currently not much going on here at the moment. In fact, I'm going to keep it here and I'm going to continue typing. So what I'm going to do is have you take a look at what's going on in this screen for the time being while I add some more styles. So what I'm doing now in the other screen, you know what might be a good idea is actually put in this screen, my main screen in the corner of the side screen, but never mind. So I'm selecting the input at the moment. I'm going to add some padding in there, and let's say 4 pixels. The font family and the font size is going to be the same. So here we are. Hello, this is some text. Because why not? I'm going to replace the border with something else. So 1 pixel, let's say, in fact, border bottom, I'm going to put down as 2 pixel solid grey, and the rest of the border is going to be nothing. In fact, no, it's not. I'm going to do this instead. So when we're focused on it, what I'm going to do is the outline's going to be none, and I'll show you the code in a minute. So border color, just going to change that to blue. So let's go back to the main screen just briefly. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. So we've got this input and we've got this input focus here. I'm making sure that when we click on this, there's actually going to be no outline, but I want to change the colors. So let's go into Opera and take a look. Let's get rid of that. Color picker. So I am going to go to, let's say, this kind of color. That looks right. So the same is going to be said for both of them. In fact, actually, make that darker. And I'm going to add a bit of a glow to it as well. It's box shadow. One pixel, 3 pixels. And that's going to be a bit brighter, maybe. I don't know if that's really the correct way I want to do it. Actually, no, that's right. That's nice. I quite like that, actually. I quite like that. Okay. So, yeah. Inside of, if I go back to here a minute, so this is the ID search. So what I'm going to do is say hash search. This is technically not the best way to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. In here, I'm just going to, I want to select the input and I want to make the width 100%. So that it looks like that. We're going to use some JavaScript and jQuery to get results from the database when we search on something. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this call 8 and this is going to be call 4. Or maybe I want this call 5 and this call 9. Nope, 7 even. Yeah, so if we focus on that just for a moment, so if we go back to our side screens, this is what it looks like. So this is our text box here, and these are our categories. We haven't styled them properly yet, so let's go ahead and do that. So go back to our main screen, let's go back to our CSS file, and if we go down here to our categories, so we've got our line, for example. So what I'm going to do is say .lime hover, and in here I'm going to make the background color slightly darker. So let's say C. Yeah, suppose that's all right. And what I'm also going to do is the same for all of the other ones. So I'm going to have a blue, which is going to have a background of 00F. Maybe not, actually. That's a bit too blue. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of pure blue. I like this style of blue, sort of nearer to the green. So there we go. That's that there, and blue on hover we are going to make lighter instead of darker. I think that would make more sense, don't you think? Since it is a dark color. Although that being said, that's kind of confusing. Yeah, that's kind of confusing. I'm going to make it darker actually. Keep it consistent. Okay, yeah, there we go. Cool. And for the last one, that was orange, wasn't it? So orange background. And if we go up here, let's pick a nice orange. Orange, there we go. And when we hover over orange, that is going to get darker as well. There we have it. So if we go over back to our side screen again, this is what it looks like. So we've got our general development books, and we've got a search box which isn't doing anything right now. So basically what would happen is, in fact, it would probably be better if I put a button there. Might be a good idea. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is say a class search button hash news slash, in fact, yeah, I'll just do a search. Is there a Unicode for a magnifying glass? I'd be very surprised if there was. HTML symbol, oops, magnifying glass. Is there such thing? There is apparently. Right pointing. Okay then. Well, HTML entity. So that's what that looks like. And I suppose it would look different depending on the browser. But anyway, What I need to do now is say div ID. So where's our ID search? I'm going to make this position relative, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that this search button that I've just added is display block and then position absolute. And the reason I'm going to do that is because in fact I'll show you in a minute. Top 0, maybe 1, 2, no, it's not doing anything apparently. Okay, well, but anyway, so if we go back to our side screen then, in fact I already was, well, this is what I've added to the code. This is the problem with OBS. I somehow managed to forget to switch screens whenever I start typing certain things. So you've already technically seen the search button as it was being added. So if we go back to the code then, if we go back to the code then, what we've got here, I've just added another class, that's search button. So the search I've made position relative, because what I want to do is I want this link to search against this ID here. So when we click on that, we're going to take the input value. It probably isn't the best way to do it. When we press enter, for example, that would take us to a search with some keywords here, for example, right? But I mean, we could do that with the input, but we wouldn't be able to do it directly with the A class. We could do it if it were a button, or we could just get rid of the href. But although that would mean that we wouldn't have the actual button itself, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the best way to do it is. I think ultimately, when it actually comes to designing this website that is not based on this hash-based notation, it would be a lot easier to implement, for sure. So, moving on a step, let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear fix. I'm also going to create a gap. So I want to create a gap between this. If we go back to the side screen, I want to create a gap between this and whatever the news items are going to be afterwards. So I'm just going to copy some lorem ipsum. Let's just go back to the main screen, and what I'm going to do, so there's going to be, if I go here and just add the gap that I was talking about, I'll go away, CCleaner. So if we go here and add in the gap that I was talking about, height of 40 pixels, and what I'm going to do, so we're going to have a h1, which is going to be our new websites, and in fact I'm going to make this a link. So news, let's call the next one item, and then our new website, something like that. So that's what that looks like. I think I want to change the style of the link. So this is what it currently looks like. So if we go back to the side screen, this is what it looks like. I think I want to change that style because the blue and the underscore, it's, I mean, it's sure, it's very traditional. It's the default way of making links appear like that, but I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put here text decoration none, and I'm going to make the color something a little different. Let's go for not sure what to settle with. Let's go for this kind of color. Oh, no. That's, the contrast isn't very good there, actually. Let's try. I don't want to keep using blue for all of my links in my websites. Not really. Orange? Maybe? How about purple? No, that's not. Orange. So let's go there. Yeah. It doesn't quite fit. Let's go a bit more there, maybe. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. Okay, fine. Let's go for green. Sea green. Why not? I can barely see it. Go a bit further this way. Well, yeah, let's try green. So let's try this. So I'll do this. That looks right. Quite like that. And then, this might seem boring to you, but when it comes to designing websites, it's all about color and themes. It's all about color and themes. That's what it's about. And it's about choosing the right colors and the right fonts and stuff like that. So I'm going to add a different shade of that green, so that when we hover over it, yeah, that's all right. I'm going to add a transition to that. So transition color ease in out, as we did with the navigation. And what I'm going to do is put there. What was I going to say? I don't know if I want it at the same speed. Although, I suppose that looks all right. Let me show you that a moment. So if we go here, hover over it, we've got a nice lot of fade there with that transition element that we just added. It's not bad. It's not bad. In fact, I haven't added transitions there. I'm going to add a transition for those. So I'm just going to say transition all. for that, using out 0.27 seconds. I think that needs to be a bit faster. 0.24 seconds. Bit faster. 0.21. Well, never mind. At least it's hash based, right? I still feel like that needs to be a little bit faster. 1.9 seconds. What 0.19 seconds. Okay, yeah, that feels fine. That feels fine now. That needs a bit of a transition there as well, I think. So let's go ahead and add those. So transition. I wonder if I can just do it in this context here. All ease in, out, 0.27 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Cool. In fact, that's a good point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a hover effect on the input to add that border. So hover, not border, sorry, the shadow, but with the current color, not the new one when we focus on it. So I'm going to say box shadow, 1 pixel, 3 pixels, and in here I'm going to say 666, and yeah, looks alright. Although when we click on it, it appears as if the yeah, because yeah, hang on. Because of the difference in, let me show you. Let me show you side screen. So because of the difference in color, we don't want the shadow to appear as if it's shrinking. Now, if we hover over that, and then we click on it, it doesn't appear that it's shrinking so much that it's not off-putting. But if I had it at a darker color, for example, on hover, and let's see the results. So this is what it looks like on hover. Then when we click on it, the box shadow appears as if it has shrunk, and I don't think that's the best effect in the world. So I think I prefer hang on a minute. I'm not actually rethinking this. No, actually, you know what? The darker color actually makes sense. Because if you think about clicking on a button and you press down on a button, you are focusing on it, thereby the color decreases, generally speaking, or it goes darker. So this is actually fine. So that basically what I'm saying is in this context, when we click on it, the box shadow is shrinking, and that reinforces the focus. So I hover over it, we click on it, that reinforces the focus. I think I actually like that better. So it's a good thing I talked that through. So anyway, let's continue on. So let's go back to here. I am going to switch screens so that you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, there's no point in me even ranting. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to add a div class. So we're going to have two pieces of information. So there's going to be the description or the short description of the news item, and then there's I've just noticed something. I'll fix that in a minute. Excuse me. So we've got our metadata and we've got our short description of our news item. So what I'm going to say is news description here, and this is going to have a slight margin, and inside of here I'm going to say p class it's like small whatever to date posted. I'm just going to say today for the time being, whatever, I'll do. And I'm not going to have authors on this website, at least not initially, but there will be a category. So let's also put category. This is going to be an href of / news category. Let's just say general. So that's general, right? And so let's go into my CSS file, and I'm going to go down here. I'm going to organize this a bit better at some point, so don't worry. So I'm going to have a news what did I call it? Yeah, news description. In fact, technically that should be news meta or something. I think that would make more sense. News meta. News meta. So I'm going to put some margin there, and what I'm also going to have, I mean, we've got our P, so let's just add that. So we've got our P paragraph, which is going to have a text line of justify. And I'm also, for our small class, is change the font size to something like, say, 16 pixels. Yeah, that looks all right. And I'm going to make the color slightly lighter, like that. So I don't want it completely black. I think the default paragraph color should be, say, a dark gray. So inside of our actual description, so again, this is going to be here, use description. So I'm going to add some lorem ipsum. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go here. I'm going to type in lorem ipsum into the search engine. 5 paragraphs, let's generate that. Why not? And we're going to test how that appears on screen. Indeed. So I'm just going to separate that by paragraph, as it should. So here, here, and here. Technically this would be the format of the news item itself, but we'll just keep it like that anyway. So inside of news description, news meta, so news description Again, we're going to have margin left, but this time it's not going to be as far indented as the other one, so I'm going to make that 15 pixels. And we're going to do the same for right as well, 15 pixels. I'm also going to have a margin top of 20 pixels, let's say. Yeah, that looks all right. Okay, so if I go back up here, and what I want to do is I want to make sure there's a gap between our paragraphs. So I've got this here. Why am I doing that? So there's a paragraph. You can indent the first item. I can't remember the first line in the paragraph. I can't remember how you do that now. Text. Well, it's certainly not text a line, that's for sure. Text indent. That might be it. Yes, it is. I thought it might be. Okay, so we're going to have a text indent of 25. Yeah, and I'm going to have a margin of 0 pixels and 12 pixels, let's say. No, that's the it should be the other way around. Like that. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Okay. So if we go back to our side screen again, take a look at the results. So these are all the paragraphs that are separated off. We've got our metadata, we've got our general category here, we've got our news item, we've got categories that we can go to. Yeah, that looks all right. That's not bad. So this would technically be construed as an actual news item and not the actual news results when we come to this page initially. So if we were to click on here, for example, we would get all of the results. Another thing I actually need to do, which I completely forgot about, was pagination. I will probably do that in the next video because time is getting on. Oops, wasn't meant to do that. So, my God, how long has this video been going on for? 48 minutes, geez. Okay, let's get back to the main screen. So, yeah, I mean, we've done quite a bit. I mean, you can see how much that we've actually done, right? We've done just over an hour's work, and we've managed to get all of this done fairly quickly when you think about it. And that's also with me talking as well, and explaining the process of what to do. So, you know, you can design websites fairly quickly, I think, once you understand and have a grasp as to the concepts. That should be a gap there, I think. But yeah, this is coming along quite nicely, I think. So in the next video, we're going to continue and finish off with the news page. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.